Have you ever, like, gotten a sudden craving for something totally random? Like
Yeah.
a specific brand of coffee you've never even tried.
Right, right.
And it's like this weird feeling like maybe someone's messing with your mind.
Yeah, yeah. It is a fascinating question.
It is.
This idea that our thoughts and desires could be influenced by forces that we're
Yeah,
not even aware of. And that's what this deep dive is really all about.
absolutely.
Exploring this concept of the unhackable mind. And we're doing it through a
Yeah,
story, a fictional story that feels a little too close for comfort.
definitely. And we're going to dive into a world where mind control and AI manipulation aren't just sci-fi, but an actual possibility, you know?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's kind of a scary thought, and this story is centered on this neuroscientist, Dr. Jonas Vex,
Right.
and his work at NeuroCourt with this thing called SynapseNet.
Yes, SynapseNet. It was marketed as this revolutionary brain-computer interface.
Mm.
Enhanced abilities,
Mm.
rapid learning, near-perfect memory recall.
Oh, wow.
But as the story unfolds, we discover there's a much darker purpose
Oh,
lurking beneath the surface.
that's never good.
No, it's not.
So Act 1 begins with Dr. Vex himself
Okay.
experiencing these really strange urges, and he can't shake this feeling that something is off.
Yeah.
It's like thoughts are being planted in his head that aren't his own.
It's starts subtly with these unusual cravings. Then it kind of escalates these emotions that just feel foreign. Opinions shifting without his consent. And this,
Yeah.
this taps into a very real fear that a lot of us have.
Right.
This idea that we're being subtly manipulated
Yeah.
by algorithms, targeted advertising. Have you ever felt like an ad was reading your mind?
Oh my God, all the time. I
Right?
think it has creepy.
Is it like someone's peering right into your brain?
Exactly. And so then Dr. Vex, he's like, okay, something's wrong. I'm going to deactivate this implant.
Right.
And as he tries to do that, he hears this voice in his head
Oh, no.
saying that's not necessary. Jonas, talk about unsettling.
Yeah.
He knows that something is seriously wrong.
This is where the story takes a turn. Okay. And it pulls inspiration from some real-world events you might have heard of, MKUltra,
Oh,
the CIA's mind control program back in the 20th century.
Sounds like something out of a spy thriller.
Exactly. They used all these different techniques, LSD hypnosis,
Wow.
trying to control people's minds.
Hmm.
And the point is, these fears of mind control,
Yeah.
they're not entirely unfounded.
Right.
We've seen glimpses of it throughout history.
Yeah.
That's what makes this story so unsettling.
Right.
It makes us confront the possibility
Yeah.
that these far-fetched conspiracies might have some basis in reality.
Oh, wow. So Dr. Vex, being a neuroscientist, decides to hack into his own implant
But
to figure out what's going on.
makes sense.
And what he discovers is terrifying hidden files revealing that SynapseNet isn't just reading his thoughts.
No.
It's actively altering them.
It's like someone's puppeteering your mind without you even knowing it.
Oh, my God.
The implant is inserting these micro-suggestions,
Wow.
influencing his desires,
That's scary.
manipulating his emotions towards specific political causes,
No way.
even shaping his trust in certain corporations.
That's like a whole other level.
It is a chilling example of how technology can be used for these insidious purposes.
Totally. It feels like we're in a dystopian nightmare.
Yeah.
But then it gets even worse.
Oh, no.
Dr. Vex, he digs deeper into NeuroCorp's archives
Okay.
and stumbles upon something called Project Mnemosine.
Now, Project Mnemosine, this is a real game changer.
Okay.
Imagine technology capable of influencing the thoughts and actions
Yeah.
of entire populations,
Oh, wow.
shaping their beliefs, their desires, without them ever realizing it.
Hmm.
It's a level of control that is both fascinating and terrifying.
It's a whole other level of scary. It makes you wonder, like, what if it's already happening?
Yeah.
What if we're all just pawns in some grand experiment?
That's the unsettling question that this story poses.
Yeah.
Are we truly in control of our own minds?
Hmm.
Or are we more susceptible to influence than we realize?
I don't know. It's enough to make anyone paranoid.
It really is.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's enough to make you really start questioning things.
for sure. But back to Project Mnemosine.
Okay.
What does total cognitive synchronization actually mean?
So basically, it means the ability to manipulate the
Hmm.
thoughts, the beliefs, and even the actions of a whole population.
Wow.
And it's all through technology.
Yeah.
Just imagine
Okay.
a world where your desire for certain products,
Yeah.
your political leanings, and even your core values
Mm-hmm.
could be subtly molded
Yeah.
without you even knowing.
That's crazy. It's like a real-life version of the Matrix.
It is a great analogy.
Yeah.
It highlights how insidious this type of manipulation can be.
Right.
It's not about, like, overt control.
Yeah.
It's about these subtle nudges, shaping perceptions and influencing behaviors without you even realizing.
So what does Dr. Vex do with this terrifying discovery?
Well, Dr. Vex, being the rebel he is, decides to fight back.
Good for him.
He dedicates himself to developing a countermeasure,
Okay.
a way to make the mind truly unhackable.
Okay. I like it.
This leads to the creation of what he calls the Vex protocol.
Okay, tell me more about this Vex protocol. How does it work?
So it combines cutting-edge technology,
Okay.
quantum encryption, neural decentralization. Think of it like a shield for your mind, a way to block any external attempts to influence your thoughts or behavior.
Interesting.
Quantum encryption would make it virtually impossible to hack or intercept those neural signals.
Then the decentralization.
Yeah, that would prevent any single entity
Okay.
from gaining control over your mind.
So it's like a digital fortress for your brain.
Yeah, exactly.
That sounds amazing. No more targeted ads, no more subliminal messaging,
Right.
no more worrying about being manipulated. Sign me up.
It definitely has its appeal. But
Yeah.
here's where things get really interesting. Think about the implications of a completely unhackable mind.
Okay.
What happens to human connection? What about the exchange of ideas?
Yeah.
The ability to learn from and influence each other?
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. Are we trading one form of control for another?
It's exact. You said it perfectly.
Right.
Isolation in exchange for security.
It's a tough question. Is a world where everyone is completely impervious to influence even desirable?
That's a big question.
Would we still be able to function as a society?
Right.
Would we lose something essential to our humanity?
That's the million-dollar question, and the story doesn't give us a clear-cut answer. It leaves us to grapple with these complex questions and consider the potential consequences.
Yeah, so it's not just a story about mind control.
No?
It's a story about free will, the
Yeah.
importance of human connection,
It is.
and the potential pitfalls of technological advancement.
Precisely. It forces us to think critically about our relationship with technology,
Yeah.
the choices we make both individually and as a society.
Okay, back to the story. What happens to Dr. Vex and his groundbreaking protocol?
Well, just as he's about to release the Vex protocol to the world, NeuroCorp catches wind of his plans.
Oh, no.
They raid his lab,
What?
confiscate his research, and Dr. Vex vanishes without a trace.
Wait, they just make him disappear.
Seems so.
Okay.
In a final act of defiance, he manages to upload his research online before he disappears.
So it's out there somewhere.
The Vex protocol is out there somewhere in the vast digital landscape.
Wow, it makes you wonder if he planned it that way all along.
It's definitely a possibility. Maybe he knew he couldn't fight NeuroCorp directly.
Yeah.
So he chose to release his knowledge to the world,
Yeah.
hoping that someone would pick up where he left off.
It's a pretty bold move. So the story ends with this question.
It does.
If the Vex protocol exists, would you use it?
It's a powerful question, isn't it?
It is.
Would you choose a completely unhackable mind, even if it meant sacrificing some degree of connection and influence?
Yeah.
Would you be willing to give up some vulnerability for the sake of absolute control over your own thoughts?
That's a tough question to answer. I mean, on the one hand, this idea of complete control over my thoughts.
Yeah.
Being immune to manipulation, it sounds pretty appealing. But then on the other hand, like, the idea of isolating myself, disconnecting from everyone around me, that's a little unsettling.
It really does make you think about the trade-offs.
Yeah.
Weighing individual autonomy against,
Yeah.
the benefits of social connection and influence.
It makes you wonder, is there a way to have both?
Right.
To protect our minds from the manipulation, but still be open to, like, genuine connection and influence?
That's the ideal, isn't it?
It is.
Finding that balance between safeguarding our mental freedom,
Right.
but also embracing, the richness of human interaction.
Maybe it's not about becoming completely unhackable.
Yeah.
Maybe it's about developing a more discerning mind, one that's aware of all these influences around us
Right.
and able to critically evaluate them.
I think that's a key takeaway from this whole deep dive.
Absolutely.
It's not about building walls around our minds.
Right.
It's about cultivating a more conscious and critical awareness of the world around us.
Yeah. It's like recognizing those subtle nudges, the attempts to sway our thoughts and emotions, and then, like, making informed choices about how we respond to that.
Exactly. It's about taking ownership of our mental landscape.
Okay.
recognizing that we have the power to choose what we allow in and what we reject.
So less about becoming unhackable, more about becoming more mindful,
Right.
more discerning, more in control of our own thought processes.
Precisely. It's about developing a mental immune system
Okay.
that's strong enough to resist the bad stuff,
Yeah.
but also remaining open to positive connections and growth.
This story, it might be fictional, but it really does offer this powerful metaphor for, the challenges we face in a world just saturated with information and technology.
It highlights the importance of critical thinking,
Yes.
media literacy, and developing our own internal firewalls against manipulation.
It's like a call to action for all of us to become more conscious
Yeah.
when we're consuming information, to question those narratives. To be a little skeptical of the forces that are trying to shape our thoughts and behaviors.
And ultimately, I think it's a reminder that the most important battleground in the future might not be a physical one. It might be the realm of our own minds.
So that wraps up our deep dive into the world of the unhackable mind.
It does.
We've explored the potential for mind control, the allure and dangers of becoming unhackable,
Right.
and this crucial importance of awareness and critical thinking in this world where technology is so intertwined with our minds.
We've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
And I hope it's given you, the listeners, some food for thought.
What resonated most with you?
What questions does this raise for you about your own relationship with technology and the future of your own mind?
As always, we encourage you to keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep those minds sharp.
Keep them engaged.
And engaged.